are you still in touch with from band?
And is there a band six, seven? Is there a band six?
No, 5.
Just five, right?
Yeah.
Is that the end
Um.
of band? And um, who do you
Uh.
ride with when you do ride?
Uh. Man. Honestly, I haven't rode with anyone in band for a while. Well, except for like Kyle and um. Me and Tom still talk, but we haven't rode together in a while. But yeah, I don't know. Band. After band 5, it was kind of like, well, even during filming for band 5, it's like everyone kind of went their own ways. Ricky really was like the glue
Yeah.
to band. Like he's the one that initiated everything, had everyone
Yeah.
get together and ride. And yeah, it's everyone's kind of doing their own thing now.
Yep. Dude, that's so
But
important. I feel like I'm supposed
I
to be
I
that
try
guy
I tr-
for my shit. I feel like I'm supposed to be the glue, and I've been blowing it.
yeah.
I haven't been riding in months. I haven't gone out with the boy. I go out like once at every other Sunday or something, but I haven't been the glue as much
Yeah.
as I used to be. What were you saying?
Yeah. I kind of blew it too, but my intentions were there. Um, so after band 5, well, getting band 5 was so hard, like
Yeah, it took
to
six,
get
7
people
years.
together to film and to get, yeah, well, it took like 5 or
Okay.
6 years. But so yeah, after, oh, the funny thing about band 5 too is we were premiering it at the first Swamp Fest,
Oh shit.
and shout out to Daryl. Shout out to Daryl Taco because he helped me get it DVD ready. Like I
Mm-hmm.
had the whole. It's like a 45 minute. It's like a 45-minute video. I had it the whole timeline ready, but I didn't know how to compress it and still
Yeah.
have full quality and have it DVD ready.
Yeah.
So
That's a whole other thing.
yeah, so I sent it all ready in its big long project, sent it to Daryl, and he sent it back to me DVD ready.
Sick.
And the night before Swamp Fest, I was up burning copies like back to back to back to back. I had to be up all night doing it, so I would burn one and I'd be like, okay, that took 10 minutes. Let me set an alarm on my phone for 10 minutes. So
Sounds like torture,
I
dude.
take a 10-minute nap, wake up, okay, next one's ready. Uh so I had 50 copies ready for Swamp Fest,
Dude, that's a
and
legit
they all
torture
sold.
tactic that they use on prisoners of war. Sleep deprivation, like wake them up every
Yeah,
5 minutes. That's fucked. That's
yeah,
dedication, mate.
yeah,
Well, it's a big deal. There's a long,
yeah. So
yeah. Back to,
yeah, but back to band and the future of band. Um, what happened after band 5? Kind of trickled out, and then eventually I had a friend come to me, and he was like, "Hey, I have all this money from doing something." Uh,
illegal.
he had a lot of he had a lot of money,
I have a lot of
and
capital.
he
I'm
just
ready to
came to me
invest.
so, yeah, and he came to me like so enthusiastic about it. He had like all these ideas of what he wanted to do. He's so enthusiastic about it. And at the time that band LLC was expired, so I was like, okay, give me like basically like pay for the LLC, and you can become the finance side of band. I'll still run it. I'll still be like the manager and run it, and keep the same band vibe that band always has been. But it comes to a time when you got to recruit new people,
Yeah.
and everyone in band was so set on their ways. I don't think they wanted to have a new face of band. They wanted it to be what it was. I think they would have rather it die out than to get a facelift.
Yeah.
And so I think one of the first recruit that I had that I suggested was Josh De La Rosa.
Oh yeah. Kid's
And
killing it.
he's from Florida. And so, and he was also really enthusiastic. He really wanted to be a part of the band.
Yeah, he lives and breathes Bone
And
Death and
so
band and that whole vibe.
yeah. So I gave him access to the band Instagram, and like the first post he did, the caption was like, "Band is under new management, blah 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 blah."
Oh.
And I was like, "Oh my, like, bro, no, like
Fuck.
we we
Young
have new
mistake.
finances, but
Yeah.
yeah, like that." And that freaked everyone. That freaked out all the OG crew members. Like, what the fuck? Like, what is this? Like,
Yeah.
and it was hard for them to accept that, like, they thought like I sold band and like gave it away to somebody that they don't even know.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like that. I was still in control of everything, but there was a person with money that wanted to invest, because up to that point, everything band was my own money from my own job.
Yeah.
Like, and doing it that way is just very stressful. And I was like, wow, this would lift so much stress off of me, and I could focus more on the creative side. Um, but and then after, so band became like a legit company after band 3, when we were nominated for video of the year
Yeah.
for Nora,
Yeah.
and my part was nominated for part of the year, which was crazy because we were just a crew, we weren't a company. And here we are nominated against the Levi video and the Nike video.
And
It's
you just
like,
turned 21 and then you woke up in
yeah,
the landscape of the front of the hotel in Vegas.
yeah,
It's a hell of a
yeah.
night, dude. I
That
miss those
was that
Nora
was
Cup
an
nights.
experience for sure.
Now they're all overseas,
Yeah.
man. Well, at least for the past couple of years, it's been overseas. But I remember Nora Cups fondly too. That is dope to get an independent video to go up against a like corporate funded
Oh,
video. It feels so good.
so let me finish the, like, where band is.
Yeah.
So what ended up happening with my friend, the investor, he ended up getting raided. He got raided. Like, oh, the his whole thing, his whole enthusiasm with me was, I got this money, I want to put in a van into band, you know, clean my money, like
Yep.
in a legit business, you
Yep.
know, and because he was getting worried about what actually ended up happening, and it's like, damn, it just happened a tad too late. And so yeah, he ended up having to use all that money on like court fees and all that stuff to get all of that out of all that. And not only that, but I feel like he didn't feel accepted by the rest of the crew because of the whole, everyone else in band like freaked out about the decision I made, and they didn't understand, they didn't see the vision that I saw. And it really bummed me out. Like, it honestly really bummed me out, because my friend that was printing all our stuff, he like he just really laid it on me. He was like, "You did a horrible job running band. That last design you did was so stupid." And I'm like, "Bro, how are you printing my stuff, and you're all excited in the moment, like, yeah, yeah, that's awesome, let's do it. But now you're saying my design sucked. Like,
Yeah. That's whack.
that's fucked up." And it really hurt that he said I didn't do a good job running band, because I felt like I put my whole life in the band.
Yeah.
Like I
You
like
are
when
banned.
Ricky passed. Yeah, when Ricky passed, and Ricky's dad was like, "I want you guys to keep going. But there's got to be someone in charge. Who should be in charge?" I felt like I should be, because I was like Ricky's right hand man the whole time. I had the second camera. Um,
And he
and
stole
I
your
would
camera and filled
film
your camera bag with
also.
rocks for the second band
Yeah, that's a
video.
good one.
Shit's so
Yeah.
funny. Tell that story real quick.
So before band was a company and we were still just filming, just for fun. Like, well, I mean, we always just filmed for fun. But before it was like we have a project we need to finish. And we were like, so me and a couple other people were leaving Pittsburgh early. Ricky was staying. He was like, "Hey, let me borrow your camera." And my camera at the time was my baby, and I was like, "No, man, this is coming with me." And so we leave Pittsburgh. We're probably like through Maryland, probably entering like West Virginia or whatever. And my friend goes, "Hey, get your camera out. Let's watch some of the footage." I'm like, "All right." Pull the camera bag out, open it, and it's rocks. It's like, Ricky, bro, hilarious. But it ended up, getting the video done. So
Turned
Ricky
out.
knew what he was doing.
Yeah. Stealing in the name of band. That's pretty punk rock, literally.
Yeah.
Punk and rocks. That's funny as fuck.
Yeah.
All right. Is there anything more with band? Like finishing up that, like the future of it, if there is any?
Yeah. Well, like back to me, like feeling hurt about what my friend said. Like, so when Ricky's dad told me he wanted me to be in charge, I honestly felt the most qualified because I had a BMX career, I had the camera, I had a vehicle that we could use for trips, like, and um, yeah. And where am I going with this? Um, yeah, and then when I made it Instagram, I never had a personal Instagram. I just made when like Instagram first came out, I never had a personal Instagram. I just made a band Instagram and I would just post everything on band in there. And then I remember hearing through people that are like, "Oh, Colt only posts himself on the band Instagram." I'm like, "Well, send me something to post. I can't just keep sending throwbacks of you guys. Like send me something you're doing or meet up with me and ride." And that's where I say Ricky was like the glue because Ricky was more forceful of getting people to
You're
come ride
coming,
with
yeah.
him. Yeah, I guess I wasn't really that forceful. It's like you coming or not I wasn't really like forcing people to come.
Yeah.
So that's where I say Ricky was the glue. But yeah, man, and before Ricky passed, he had ramps. Him and Gary were making ramps at his house. But he wanted to move. I think he was saying he wanted to move maybe like Atlanta or something. He wanted to switch up the scene. He was like, and me at the time, I was after band 4 ended and then we did a bunch of mixtapes. I wasn't there as much for the mixtapes after band 4 because I was working. I needed to get my income up to get a good like to get approved for a mortgage because I was trying to get a house.
Yeah.
And so um so he was like, "Hey, when I move and you get your house, you got to take these ramps and keep the band ramps going." So I was like, "Okay." And all the way up till he passed away. Oh, I ended up finding a house for a short sale. Like at the time, I was only working for $12 an hour for my dad.
Yeah.
I only got approved for a $45,000 mortgage, and I ended up finding a house, a three bed, two bath, for $60K. That was a short sale,
Nice.
and I gave them my $45,000 offer, and I got approved for it. And I told Ricky, "All right, I just got approved for this house. I'm gonna get this house." But because it was a short sale, it took like months. It took months for it to go through. And I just remember Ricky being like, "You get that house yet? Like, what are you doing? Like you said you got that house. Why aren't you in there yet?" I'm like, I don't know. It's just taking a long time, man. Like I didn't know why. I just knew it was taking a long time. So it wasn't until he passed away that I finally got the house.
Ah, fuck.
And that's probably like the first, yeah, that's like the first thing I did was went to his place and picked up the ramps, and I continued the ramps at my house.
Man, that's got to
So
be hard.
a lot like,
Right after it happened to go and pick up the
yeah,
ramps.
yeah. And I kind of like kept the same configuration of ramp setup that he had.
Yeah.
And then I finished it out with a bunch of wood that I'd get from Halloween Horror Nights, because that's my job with my dad's company, is building the haunted houses. And then when Halloween is over, you literally just tear it all down and put it in dumpsters. So when I
So,
would
yeah,
tear it down,
perfect.
I would just stack stacks of plywood to the
Yeah.
side,
Hell
and
yeah.
then take it home.
Boom.
So yeah, but then it's Florida. It rains, wood rots.
Yeah.
I'd say the band ramps lasted probably like 4 or 5 years.
Which is pretty good considering the weather and shit. Like, I know Trey is always
Yeah.
working on his backyard ramps. Like, it never ends. And it's because of
Well,
the weather and all that.
Trey doesn't have any tree coverage, so when it rains and the sun comes back out, it dries up quick. I had a lot
Ah.
of tree coverage in the area I lived, so when stuff would get damp, it would stay damp and it would rot faster.
Huh. I wonder if I went there when I lived in Orlando to the band ramps. I like have weird memory flashback of like there's some sort of mini ramp and then a trampoline and something with the roof. Very Florida fucking shit, but I don't know. I don't know whose house that
Was
was.
that when Mark Mulville was on Sabrosa?
Maybe, yeah, because like
Because
my first trip out there was when
I had
Mark was there.
because we had a surprise birthday party for Mark at my house.
And it was a
And
backyard
sure,
bonanza.
yeah, and I remember Sure was there, so yeah, maybe you were there.
I might have been there.
But
It's
the
all a
ramps
fucking
weren't
blur, but that's
the
cool.
ramp yeah, the ramps weren't done at the time, so they weren't completely rideable, but it was a tight setup. Like, it's one of those setups where like riding the ramp is the trick, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think I was there, dude. That's awesome. That's cool. I've been to the band house.
Oh hell yeah, you were at my house.
We've reached the end of the video. Hopefully you enjoyed that clip. If you want to support me and the podcast, just subscribe and share the show with your friends. The full episode is in the description, so if you haven't, go check that out. It's also available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and wherever you listen to podcasts. And the goal is just to grow. So if you could share the show with your BMX homies, that'd be dope. If anybody that you know that is a BMX nerd and would enjoy this podcast, do me that favor, and we'll keep all these clips coming and one episode every week. So I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.